Yeah, I probably should have done some stretching before we sat down to do this because last night we went out for date night and went down to a local like music hall,
Mhm.
and a cover band called Emo Nation was playing.
Fun.
Dude, holy shit. I have not like headbanged like that in fucking like, I don't know, 15 years.
Oh, hell yes.
They did. They have like 8 people in the band and then they'll trade out for songs, but they covered like Evanescence and Sum 41, Good Charlotte.
Oh,
My gosh, it was so good. And the lead singer was wearing a shirt that said Panic at the Costco.
love.
It was
That's
amazing.
amazing.
It was amazing. But I'm feeling it from my neck down between my shoulder blades. I woke up this morning, immediately put eye patches on, and was like, once a year.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, you're not even like in a neck brace or nothing.
But anyways, it was really nice because a lot of like millennials were there and people that just like so embraced that time of music.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at Walmart the other day and I saw a Lizzie McGuire makeup display. And so
Okay.
it's like so much stuff is turning back, going
Mm-hmm.
back. And I don't know if it's because the world is just getting a little weird. It's getting a little weird.
Getting pretty weird. Yes, we want to bring you a new segment that has been generated by our lovely Rachel. World's getting weird. And we want to highlight some of those weird things. So Rachel, just, there's really no way to explain what this is going to be, but just dive right in. What's getting
We're
weird
just
about the
rolling
world?
with it. Think of this as like our news segment. Yeah. So there's been lots of talks of Bigfoot activity. It's so interesting because I think the videos started like trickling in on our algorithms at the same time, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, a lot of, the hunt for Bigfoot has always been there. And people are, there was one girl who had a take that he's like this interdimensional creature that like travels through the national parks and blah, blah, blah. So if you see a Bigfoot out there, snap a picture of him if he's not too quick, or she. There's a family of big feet. Would that be the plural? Big feet?
Bigfoots,
Bigfoot?
I think, in my extensive knowledge from years of watching these fake reality TV shows like Hunting Bigfoot.
Yes. Yeah, and they're actually in, I believe it's in LJ.
Mhm.
It's a town that's like, I don't know, 30 minutes north of me. There is a Bigfoot museum. So I'll have to go
Love.
out there. I'll have to go out
Yep.
there and get pictures. There have also been a ton of meteors. We get the meteor
Mm-hmm.
falling. I
Right.
saw some video footage from, I believe, California and Ohio. I think there was some in Ohio.
Yes, I think I saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some crazy shit. And like listen, I'm not necessarily a skeptic, but I always try
Mhm.
to look at the logical before jumping immediately to like the
Yeah.
aliens, even though I
Right.
fully believe they're out there. Like, so listen, some of these videos, like you look through the comments, you see, people debating this, whatever. And some explanations, I'm like, okay, yes, I can understand how that one is clearly, yes, a meteor. It's just traveling real quick, whatever. Other ones, I'm sorry. Zip,
Yeah.
zip, zip zagging
Right.
around all the fucking place. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it's hard, especially with how much AI is floating around. Like
Very
you
true.
don't know. But if you have a meteor that falls near your place of living, if you find anything, let us know. We'd like to
Hmm.
document it for science.
I have seen videos of people finding them in their yards. Like I saw a video of a guy literally catching one from the sky, like this little piece of
What?
one. I was like, "Is this fake? How did you
Is
do
it?
that? How did you see that
Right.
coming? Where did it come from?"
Is it frozen space poop? What is it?
I mean, they're space rocks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really cool looking into like when those do get tested and what kind of unknown metals, materials, whatever
Mhm.
might be in there. I don't know. It's a very cool way for us to explore space and all of that. But there's still what is it? The truth is out there.
The truth is out
You
there.
know,
And
I'm the
our
next
last
Files lover, Mulder. I believe you,
Yep.
Mulder.
And our last little weird making your skin crawl feeling. saw some videos of some abnormal animal migration patterns. There was a video, I think, from again out in California where a bunch of deer like jumped off a bridge. There was like 6 of them.
Shit.
Some seals moving out of the water. And then yeah, just kind of some weird shit. So pay attention to the animals. If they're running, you need to run too.
I mean, yeah, animals tell a lot. I just watched, like, speaking of how that relates, I just watched, so I'm getting over a cold and all of that. And so on my sick day, I watched Leave the World Behind that came out in
Yep.
2023 that I never watched. And I was like, you know
Oh
what?
my
I'm a
God, you
big,
hadn't
like,
seen it?
I had not. And I'm a big, like, when I have a sick day, I'm watching either found footage movies
Mm-hmm.
or natural disaster / end of the world movies. There's just something
Yeah.
about them that when I'm sick, I don't know.
Yep.
And that's a question for my therapist. But so I watched, I was like, oh, I haven't seen this one before. Let me just put it on. Listen, there were some parts of that movie that were really, really cool. And so listening to the animals, you bring that up. I'm like, yeah, the animals were a very big indicator of this movie. That things were afoot.
Yeah.
But like I thought it could have been executed so much better had it not been 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
There was so much boring stuff happening. No one called Julia Roberts' character out on being racist as fuck. And that pissed me off.
I know.
I'm like, oh my God, what, not Kevin Bacon. Ethan Hawke. I'm like, Ethan Hawke, call your wife a racist. Call her out, please. But yeah, like it could have gone a really interesting way with like I enjoyed the mystery of not knowing what was happening in the greater world, just like the characters didn't. I thought that was a really cool POV to be put in. Cause yeah, usually like in these natural disaster or end of the world like movies, it's like someone's tied to the government, so they're getting pulled out and they're getting all this information that the rest of the world doesn't have. But this time we are the rest of the world. And yeah, so I just thought it was a very cool premise that had a lot of potential that I personally ending it, spoilers if you haven't seen this movie, ending it with this fucking 13-year-old
Is
finding a safety bunker
my God, I know.
and going to watch the finale of Friends. Listen, I understand that is the overarching like theme of the movie of like we are so tied to technology we will literally ignore all signs of survival just to get to connect with like technology. I 100% understand that, and that it will be our downfall if we were to ever lose access to this, for sure. To have it end that way though, I'm just kill her, leave her out. You're 13. Listen, I was a piece of shit at 13, but she'd be locked out of that bunker.
I'm so glad that you have experienced that movie. I didn't realize you hadn't seen it. I want you to know, okay, I watched it, I think when it first came out. I was enraged. I literally looked at the TV and I was like, 2.5, exactly what you just said. I was like, all of that for that ending. And there was, okay, yeah, I could go on and on.
Yeah,
it pissed me off so much.
So I was talking to my sisters when I started it, and I was like, oh, I just started this movie. Like, I remember them talking about how good it was, and my sister texted me back. She's like, oh, it was so good. And I was like, oh, great. I text her after this movie ended. I'm like, that was supposed to be good. I'm sorry.
There was no plot. There was no resolve of the plot. There was no resolve at all.
No. And, like, I understand if a movie has something to say, but, like, you also have to do something, too.
Right.
Like, go to a TED Talk then or something. Like, write a paper.
It's almost like they took all of the fear-mongering elements of, like, disabling technology and using
that, the sonic.
The frequency, it's like psychological warfare. The pamphlets, the cars driving themselves, they took every, like, fear-mongering element and threaded it together with a fraying string. And I was like, you're just throwing anyways.
Yeah, with this dynamic of these two families that honestly could very well make it through this together very easily if they just simply confronted the fact that this woman is racist. That's it.
Right.
Because everybody else got along. Everyone else was chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the acting was great. It has a great cast. You have Mahershala Ali in there. And you're telling me this isn't a well-acted movie? Like, no, it for sure is. But yeah, I just thought it had a lot of potential and just fell short for me.
I'm glad that we bonded over that. I've been wanting to talk to someone about that for so long.
If you want to watch a movie, granted, I'm not sure if I'm hot or cold on this movie, but I've watched it a couple times now, and I feel like I'm still quite in the middle on how much I enjoy it. But if you want to see a movie that does this kind of thing well, not in in kind of a post America of all of this technological disruption happening and things, watch Civil War. That came out in, gosh, I wish I could remember, and not Captain America Civil War.
That's what I was saying. I was like, wait.
The A24 movie Civil War that
Okay.
stars Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, I'll have to check that
It
out.
is jarring. It's violent. Just know that. But it follows these photographers and journalists across an America that is split in a civil war, and they're trying to get to DC because the rebel, movement is going after this corrupt president. And it's quite a journey that these people go on. And a lot of it pisses me off, but a lot of it I'm like, okay, makes sense. So just saying, if you want a movie with that kind of scenario and you want to see a country of America that is actually like being terrorized and at war, go watch Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Another movie I watched recently, more on the horror side, Undertone. I went and saw Undertone. I really liked it. I thought it was a really good time. I won't spoil it, of course. If anyone wants to watch it, it did only come out like a couple weeks ago. But I think it's the directorial debut for this director. And I thought it was a very well executed movie that I just wish it had more scares. But I thought the times that they were building up to scares were very well done. Like, I thought it was a really cool, different kind of horror movie, especially where, still not a spoiler, you see this if you've seen any ads for it, that it follows this woman who's in a house and she has a horror podcast with her friend. And they talk about different horror stuff, and it's a really, really cool experience as well, just because it relies so heavily on the audio, because it still puts you in like the space of her headset kind of deal. Yeah. Oh, it is so, like, the experience of it, of really like hearing it. So if you do ever watch it, if you have a way of watching it on your TV but with like noise canceling headphones or something, I definitely want to try to do that myself, because
that'd be cool.
it's a very immersive
That'd
movie
be
that way.
cool. Also, hi everyone. It's been a minute.
Also, hey, now that we've been here for 15 minutes, it has been a hot minute. Yeah.
It has. In true fashion, we're coming in just a little uncoordinated and riding by the seat of our pants. But speaking of what Megan was talking about a little bit ago, a rebel movement and a corrupt president, we are here today to do the Hunger Games!
Yeah!
Hunger
Games! Happy Hunger Games!
That was my best Capital tune.
Excellent work. So, speaking for both myself and Rachel, we've seen all of the currently released movies, haven't read a single one of the books. Up until this point, we've now read just the first one.
Just the first.
And loved it. Like, oh my God.
So fucking good.
So good. The things that Suzanne Collins expands upon in the book that are not in the movie, I understand why they're not in the movie. Some things I do, some things I don't. We'll get there when we get there. But great adaptation. Like, no wonder those movies have such a great following, because they're just well done movies, but also they're done very respectfully as far as adapting the book. So just excellent. I loved it.
Yeah, I've watched the movies a countless number of times. And so I saw the movies before ever thinking about reading the books, but I do know people that like were in middle school when the series came out and that was their assigned reading. And I just, now that I've read the book after watching all the movies, I'm just thinking about how impactful that is, reading that at that age.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so ready to dive into this with you.
Oh yeah. My youngest sister, so she, I believe, because this came out so the book was published by Suzanne Collins. It came out September 14th, 2008. Yeah, I don't know if my youngest sister might have read this right when it was coming out because she was right in that middle school age
Mhm.
range.
Mhm.
But she still was a little bit young at that point, so it might have been a year or two later that she picked it up. But she loved these books. I can't
Yeah.
remember how many she ended up reading, but then she also, I believe, and she really enjoys the movies as well. And I just love the movies because movies. What a great like uh great book, and I bring this up to later. I'll make sure that we touch on it, but just like I really appreciate how well it's written for that age range, for the message to get across while not
Mhm.
being so overwhelming for like a 10 to 12-year-old mind, you know?
Yeah, because I remember do you remember this? I don't know if you ever I had to read it for an assigned reading in middle school. There was The Hatchet, of course,
Yes, I did
but
read Hatchet.
the one about Ebola,
I don't
Hot Zone,
know.
The Hot Zone.
I don't know if I read that one.
Dude, oh my god. I think I was in 7th grade when we had to read it, and there's this scene in there, like, of the origin of the Ebola virus, like, spreading, and it is described as this man on the plane, like, being sick, like, hurling, and his eyes bleeding, and I just remember reading it and being, like, absolutely mortified to ever catch Ebola.
Yeah. I don't know, like, the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, "Maybe I did read that because it sounds
Yeah.
vaguely familiar." So, but I retained so little of the information within those books from back then, like,
Right, right.
reading all that stuff back then, being forced to read, I've talked about it.
Mhm,
It just made me
mhm.
not wanna read, all of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but it does sound familiar.
So
It's important to read those books at that age, you know?
mhm.
The worldly view, yeah. It's important. That's all I can say. So yeah, the book, as I said, published and it written by Suzanne Collins. And then not 4 years later, we got the movie adaptation, which came out March 23rd, 2012. And the movie The Hunger Games was directed by Gary Ross, who also directed Pleasantville, Seabiscuit, and Ocean's 8, which I really love Ocean's 8. And I feel like I might have watched Pleasantville once when I was younger. I know my dad really likes that movie, and I did watch Seabiscuit because Horse Girl. So
Yep.
obviously,
Same here. Same here.
as much as I don't even remember most of that movie, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And obviously, this movie stars Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Banks, Woody Harrelson, Donald Sutherland, Stanley Tucci, Lenny freaking Kravitz, and the list goes on.
Stacked cast.
One of my favorite castings in this movie, which is such a small role, but Jack Quaid is in this movie. And if you like The
Mm,
Boys, you know Jack Quaid
mhm.
as
Yep.
Huey, and he is the boy from District 1, I believe,
Mm,
that kills Rue in the movie.
that's
He's
right.
the one that throws the
That's
spear.
right.
So ever
Yeah.
since I learned that, that's all I can see throughout the entire movie. I'm just like, Huey,
Yeah.
Huey here. He's always
This
been
is
just getting blood on him since a young age.
yeah. Oh my gosh. That's like a really quick interception, ADHD. I just did a Dune rewatch
Love
and Dune and
Dune.
fucking love it, man. Dune Part 2
Mhm.
when it's after yeah, it's I'm trying to think exactly where oh wait, no. Dune Part 1. So it's when they've arrived to
Arrakis?
Arrakis
Huh?
and
In, like, that big ceremony where they come off the ship?
yeah, but then they
Okay.
move
So they're getting off
hang
the
on
ship,
one
they walk
second.
along the sand, and then
Uh
they get greeted by that general, and then they walk inside,
yeah,
and
when
then they're getting shown the
Rebecca
palace.
Ferguson, I don't know why I'm losing her name in the movie. Lady Jessica.
Yes.
Okay, so when she's talking to one of the locals and she's giving
Mhm.
her the blade,
Yes.
that is the actress that plays Queen Charlotte.
Yes! Okay, I did see that too last time I watched it.
Like, "That's Queen Charlotte." And I was like, "Nope. What an incredible
Yeah!
actress, man." Anyways, moving on. Back on track.
We're back. But
We're back.
yes, no, love Dune. Fuck Timothée Chalamet. I'm seeing
Yeah.
Dune 3 for the girlies only, and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh my god, I know. Holy shit.
He looks crazy.
He's gonna kill it. He is
Of
such
course.
he's a versatile actor. He's
He's I hope that people start putting some more respect on this man's name because he is a fucking actor.
He
Like,
is.
yes, oh yeah, like the big roles. Obviously, we love Twilight. We love talking about Twilight in his
Mhm.
heyday.
Mhm.
Like, no, yes, you have Batman, but like, if you've watched Mickey 17, oh my god, he's so
Mm-mm.
good.
I
Speaking of
haven't seen that one.
someone, I know, like, we obviously Sinners, love of my
Yeah.
life. We talk about Michael B. Jordan, and obviously he has now we haven't met since the Oscars. Michael B. Jordan playing twins in Sinners, right?
Mhm.
Congrats, Michael B. Jordan. And seeing Robert Pattinson playing not twins, but clones of himself in Mickey
Mm.
17, he does a
Mhm.
really, really good job too. And that movie did not get near as much, visibility, I think, as it deserves. I really, really like that movie.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say so then we can we
Yeah,
can
get back to it.
reel back in. There's another movie he did. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called The Devil All the Time.
I love The Devil All the Time.
Oh, we're gonna have
I
to
watch
cover
that
that at
movie
some
like
point.
once every couple years.
I
I love
I'm
that movie.
obsessed with it. We're gonna have to cover it. We're gonna have to do like a cult movie segment and cover that.
We must. Yeah.
So
All right.
good.
So
Anyways,
let us
The
get
Hunger
into,
Games.
yes, the Hunger Games, the 74th annual Hunger Games, to be more specific. So, just going through a rough movie plot, we kind of open on District 12. We meet Katniss, who is out hunting with Gale. We get our intro to kind of how the Hunger Games works, or at least how the reaping works, because it's reaping day. So, they live in District 12, and the reaping is a day where all of the children, what is it, between the ages of 13 and 18,
Mhm.
their names are placed into a lottery to be drawn to participate in the Hunger Games that year. So, we kind of go along. We meet Katniss's family, her mother, and Prim, her younger sister, very adorable little girl. My sister was obsessed with the tuck in the tail little duck moment.
I
It always
know.
breaks my heart.
It does.
So we meet them both and we go to the reaping where it ends up that in the drawing, I should kind of circle back because this is kind of just important in a larger kind of thing to talk about, where how this lottery works of getting your names entered. So your name is entered one time for each year you are in the entering. So, when you're 10, your name's in once. When you're 11, your name's in twice, and so on. And they also have a system that if you take aid from the peacekeepers, be it food or supplies, what have you, your name is then entered X amount of times comparatively to what you need from them. So, as you can tell, this is obviously a system that is very majority working against the poor in this community because they're not able to produce or get their own food, their own supplies. They have to rely on this government to supply it, and therefore their names are entered more. So Katniss and her sister are kind of in that situation. And I forget how many times Katniss says her name is entered, but I know Gale's is up there sometimes, something in like the 20s, I think he says.
I don't
And
know why
Katniss's
I'm
is
thinking
something.
I
Mhm.
I don't know why I'm thinking the number 42, but I don't think that's right. I don't think it was that much.
Honestly,
I've
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm trying to
Cause
remember what.
Gale cause Gale has a big family to provide for as well. I'm pretty sure in the
Mhm.
book, he's got, like,
Mhm.
4 or 5 siblings or something like that.
Yeah.
I might be completely misremembering that. So sorry, but obviously it's Gale. Anyway, we'll get to Gale later. So, yeah, we get to Reaping Day, and so Katniss is like, "Don't worry about it, Prim. Your name is only in there once. You're
Mhm.
good. Like, you're fine." Lo and behold, then we meet Effie Trinket, who is this woman from the capital, rather. So she is dressed quite brightly, and she's like, the fashion is so exaggerated. I'll go into like the fashion aspect later. But she comes in to do the drawing. Effie played by Elizabeth Banks.
So good.
And she's so good. She's
So
so
good.
good in these movies. And then the drawing takes place. Prim's name is called. And as Prim goes to walk up, Katniss screams out in the very famous fashion, "I volunteer as tribute." Their first volunteer in like decades, I think. So Katniss takes her sister's place. And I always get chills and get teared up. I can't help it when Prim just
Mhm.
like lets out that scream for Katniss. Like,
Mhm.
oh, she's
Yeah.
so good. That actress is really, really good.
I got goosebumps right now thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a really, like, it's a very chilling scream, like, yeah. So Katniss takes the stage, then the boy's name is drawn, and we meet Peeta Mellark, played by Josh Hutcherson. Oh my god, what a cutie patootie.
Mhm.
I love, and I will say the one difference I definitely noticed between the book and the movie, I pictured book Peeta a bit larger, like as
Same
far as
here.
build wise,
Yeah.
and like just a little like height wise taller.
Mhm.
Just because I feel like in the book he's described, obviously it matches up with the movie that he works in the bakery with his parents. So he's a built guy because he can throw around the bags of flour just like in the movie. The way he's described, he's much more muscly. I feel like he described in the book, but Josh Hutcherson is excellent. No
He was
complaints
perfect.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
He really is. Because that's one of those things where they're still able to get across that he's a very strong person, even though he doesn't look it. So yeah, I'm big fan. And so Peeta's name is drawn. They're taken away, and then they're shipped off to the capital. And this is where we get to meet also Cinna. We love Cinna, played by Lenny Kravitz, and he is spot on from the book. If like you want to talk about adapting a character, he's done excellently. Like I even
Mhm.
down to when I was reading, I noticed the detail of him having the gold eyeliner when they first meet, and he has the little
Mhm.
like hint of gold eyeliner when they first meet in that scene. I'm like, wow, it's beautiful. Oh, we love it when we love it when the writers of a movie are like just get the details right in such like a good subtle way and it's not overbearing, but also just like characterization. I think Lenny Kravitz does an excellent job of portraying that kind of softer connection that Katniss needed to kind of start to open up a little bit more. And he played it really, really well. Oh my gosh, before we even meet Cinna, I'm so sorry, Woody. We meet Haymitch on the train from District 12 to the capital. And all those moments on the train are really, really cool as well. And fairly similar to the book, I would say. The one thing I'm so glad the movie added was that is mahogany.
Oh my
Excellent.
gosh, I
Such a good addition.
know.
I was
It
expecting it to be
is.
in the book, but it was not.
Right. Yeah, and I do have to say, like, so far where we're at and where you're describing the movie plot, they kept it very, very, very close beat for beat
The
from the
only
book.
thing they changed is Haymitch's intro.
Yes.
So in the
Yeah.
book, Haymitch like stumbles onto the reaping stage all
Mhm.
drunkenly, but he's not
Mhm.
even present in the movie for that scene.
Right.
And I do get why they changed it for the movie because and I do like his introduction in the movie better. And it's still the same vibes, but it's a different setting, which I appreciated because in the book it does kind of take the attention off of Katniss and Peeta becoming these tributes, which is very heavy. Um, and it's definitely like a comic relief kind of moment, but I just feel like it was very unnecessary in a moment that was so like oof, especially after watching
Mhm.
like like Katniss get ripped away from her sister, and it's a very heavy moment. I'm glad that they changed it up, and because they still kept Haymitch drunk as a skunk in the movie, like putting his dirty feet up on the table and like
Yeah.
just acting like a fool. So yeah, love Haymitch as well. I know his book is the most recent one that came out that will be coming out as a movie later this year. That's why
Mhm.
we are also doing this book series when we are, because we want to make sure that personally we're caught up by the time that this movie comes out. But
Yeah.
we also thought it's a very, pertinent topic,
Mhm.
book, important thing to dive into this time around. We get to the Capitol where we meet Senna, where we meet the rest of the capital-esque citizens or the capital citizens rather, and they are just as weird as described in the book. And the whole scene too with how they're prepping Katniss to like be presented to Cinna was crazy in the book. They toned it down for the movie with how they treat her, but they do sneak in the line in the movie, which I thought was a good way to still display how like dehumanizing they view, like non-human they view her,
Mhm.
because I think one of the guys, the cosmetologist, if that's what you can even call them, says like, "Oh, we might have to hose you down one more time before you meet Cinna," or something like that. And I mean, the entire time they are just laying there like dolls and just getting waxed, stripped, plucked, like painted, everything under the sun. It's it's pretty hard hitting in the book, even more so because
Mhm.
you're really inside of Katniss's head, and that's kind of a POV kind of touch on, which I guess I'll touch on it now. Like in the movie, we get a lot of not non-Katniss POV, but we do. But majority of the time we are with her in the movie. But in the books, we are only with Katniss, so everything that Katniss knows, we know, and that's it. We don't get to see what the outside world is watching or doing or saying. None of it. We just have to rely on what she's seeing and hearing. So I thought it was a really interesting way of kind of tweaking that a little bit for the movie to make it more digestible and also to cut down on the runtime of the movie, especially when it comes to the games, because we get a lot more details from her in the book, but we get a lot of those same details about the world and her history externally as well. So when it comes to Caesar Flickerman, we'll just hop forward to the intro. Stanley freaking Tucci,
Oh my
Caesar
gosh.
Flickerman. If he is such I feel like I love him so much because he is a morally great character at the end of the day, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know
Yeah.
enough about him to know that for sure, but he reads very morally gray to me, where he's like this talking head of the society, but who knows if
Mhm.
he actually. I feel like there is a genuine kindness about him, that he does still care about these kids when he's interviewing them.
Mhm.
So
'Cause at
he's,
the end
yeah.
I mean, at the bottom of it all, he's kind of forced into his role, you know?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. So,
I wonder if when we get to Sunrise on the Reaping, which I know everyone has told us that, like, get a box of tissues. I'm so excited to read that.
mhm.
I'm wondering if when we get to Sunrise on the Reaping, if we're gonna get some more kind of background development on the whole, like, charismatic side of it. See, like, the origin foundation of,
Yeah.
so interested.
No, me too. I'm very curious to see how that develops as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and having him and Claudius Templesmith, who is his co-host, who you will know from the MCU. He's in the Captain America movies. He's that German doctor. I can't remember his name. But they kind of give us in-game updates real time and give us the setup, especially when it comes to like the Tracker Jackers. And we're not understanding what the Tracker Jackers are from Katniss's point of view, like we are in the book where we're hearing her thoughts. Instead, we're being told by the commentators. So things like that, small changes like that to still give us the information, but not take us out of the games completely, I thought was a very good way of interpreting all of that delivery of information. I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we get the introduction of the girl on fire. I love the movie interpretation of this so much, especially all of Katniss's wardrobe. The wardrobe for this entire movie is
Mhm.
incredible, but I love how they translated her and Peta's outfits that Cinna makes. It's beautiful.
So good.
Yeah. I will say the one thing I like that they did change book to movie is referring to her as the girl on fire and not the girl
Mhm.
that was on fire. I'm like, there's too many words in there. Stop that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Every time I read that, I'm like,
Yeah, but I just also, like, because when we look at the breakdown of these districts, and it's mentioned
mm-hmm,
in the beginning of the book that District 12 is supposed to be Appalachia, they're coal miners. So I
mm-hmm,
just thought that the incorporation of that, of Cinna turning her dress into this beautiful, beautiful representation of the culture that's
mm-hmm.
there when they are looked at as poor, they're looked at as dirty, they're looked at all of these negative aspects, and Senna is just like, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
good,
No,
so good.
yeah, especially where in the book, when Katniss is preparing to meet with Cinna and get her outfit for this, she's running through her memory of the awful outfits that
Mhm.
previous tributes have been subjected to. One of which being in the nude and just covered in coal dust.
Right.
What the fuck? So
Yeah.
she was rightfully nervous to meet him. But yeah, for him to be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to focus on the coal itself. I want to showcase what it produces."
Mhm.
She's like,
Mhm.
"Energy?" She's like, "No, fire."
That's right. That's right. So
So good.
good.
That's such a hype moment.
It
And yeah,
is.
it's so fucking good. And Peeta looks great too. I know that it's focused a lot on her, but he looks
He
fantastic
looks
too.
great. Yeah.
So yeah, excellent moment, incredible introduction for them. 10 out of
Mhm.
10. Let's see, then we move forward. We go to the training. when they start training in the I can't remember. I guess the Tributes Training Center, I guess.
Yeah. No, that is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I do like how they interpreted PETA's skills in practicing in that in that training ring versus when he's in the games, and how he explains away those skills, because listen, we can't not talk about his cake decorating skills and how that translates.
Oh my gosh, I know. Fucking amazing. I can't do that shit.
I was gonna say that's fucking hilarious that they
Oh.
would assume that he can camouflage himself into a tree with minimal supplies.
Do you know how long that would take? Do you know how long that would
Exactly.
take?
Exactly. Like when he is in there training in the movie and he's like, "Look, I turned my hand into tree bark." I'm like, "How long have you been working on that? Boy, please." And I think in the book it's described that like it's more of like a I don't know if it's like a more of like a mud rocky scenario, so it's like not as like a defined detailed, it's more textures and camouflaging instead,
Mhm.
like if that makes any sense. Like he's not literally making bark on his arm, he's just using colors and textures.
Yeah.
And I understand that I'm literally describing art, and I understand how this is coming off. It makes sense in my head, so I hope you all I hope you understand what I'm talking about. No, it's not making art. He's just like he's making art. So yeah, that's the one difference. I liked book to movie better with the book, is I'm like, okay, it's not stretching his abilities that much
Yeah.
in the book. It's still grounding that in reality and not having him literally make his arm a fucking bush.
Mhm.
Anyway, I to this day, watching him be like, "Oh, look at me." I'm like, "Sir,
Yeah. Yeah.
be for real." And through all of this too, we're seeing, Katniss and Peeta kind of, not really become friendlier with each other, because Katniss is pretty like standoffish and closed off and all that. She's still in her head about like, "I'm gonna have to kill you. I'm gonna get close to you, and I'm also a prickly personality and I don't make friends. Like people don't like me." She says this in the movie and in the book, but that hard-headed Peeta, he's gonna break through that exterior real quick.
Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
does bit by bit. He definitely does. But I really like I understood more in the book how fake of the connection she was, how much she was faking in the book, and how muddled her feelings were getting versus the
Mhm.
movie. But also that's just something that you get inherently in a book versus a movie, unless
Right.
the movie has a narrator or a
Mhm.
narration for the inside thoughts of the character. Because yeah, you don't get to see her conflict throughout the entire book of being like, "Oh, I wanted to like him," or "I wanted to try to get close to him, but I couldn't let myself do that." And like, "There's no way I could actually do this. This is for the games." Like, she just constantly keeps telling herself, "This is for the games. It's for the games. It's for the games." Even though her like her other half is like telling her, "No, it's not." So I just really enjoyed that inner fight that she's having the entire time a bit more in the book.
Mhm.
But it is still nice to see their relationship blossom in the movie, especially when we get to the interviews.
Oh my gosh.
And that scene was done so well. I
Mhm.
enjoy it much more in the movie than I do the book as well. When she just like up against the wall by his neck, he's like, "You made me look weak," and
Yes. Yeah.
it's so good. And he's like, "He made you look desirable," and it's like,
Mhm.
he's right. He's kind of right.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just love how smart Peeta is playing all of this. And I feel like every time I watch The Hunger Games now, I'm going to focus more on him too. Not that I
Oh,
didn't
yeah, for
before,
sure.
but really pay attention to his choices, because you really do
Mhm.
see how strategic he is in the way that he acts and decisions that he makes. And I was all for that one. I was shook when I first saw that movie. I'm like, he's real.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Very jarring.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Uh, and so we move on, and I guess at this point we're in the games. We kind of get going, and we're also at this point we've also met Rue. Is from, well, we haven't met her, but we've seen Rue, who is from District 11. She is 10 years old or 11 years old, and
Mhm.
she's very good at hiding, and she's just like this in the books too. I
Hang
just
on.
love when
Can
they're
we
training. Yeah,
can we pause really quick? Hold on.
yeah,
Hold on one second.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry. I had to make sure our truck was not stolen out of our driveway. I feel like an
Oh
idiot.
no.
I got my boss texted me that one of our someone that was supposed to work today called out. So he was asking if I could come in. I told him it was going to be after I finish up. And Zach was going to run to the store to go get groceries. And he was like, never mind, don't have a truck. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, because you're taking it to work. I was like, oh my God, I thought someone stole it. Anyways, here we go.
Let's just, never mind. Goodbye. Okay, so yeah, we are at the games, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, we get to the games and we are in like that woodland kind of area, kind of foresty. So Katniss is like sick. But yeah, and we're kind of off to the races. And it's mayhem initially. Just like Haymitch tells them, he goes, don't go right to the cornucopia, don't go to the supplies. It's always a bloodbath. Just go find water immediately. And so Katniss does not do this, obviously. She takes advantage of going to find a pack and then leaves. But let's see. Yeah, and the games are just I like that you get a lot more detail as far as how long they last in the books. I think in the books it ends up being 2 weeks or something like that. The games have lasted. Whereas in the movie, it feels like maybe 5 days at most. And I think that's also due to how severe that the movie portrays their injuries as versus the book, where the book their injuries are a lot more life-threatening, a lot more like not excessive. They're just a lot more serious than they are, when Katniss like gets a knife thrown at her and her head gets cut. Like she's bleeding pretty hard, but also this is also just from my medical drama, The Pit knowledge. I literally learned this. I didn't just learn this, but it was confirmed for me on The Pit because I trust them just last week. Where, scalp injuries tend to bleed just a lot more because you have a lot more blood vessels up there. So her spilling blood out of her forehead, I was like, oh, well, that's just because you bleed heavier from your head. Whereas in the book, it's like, oh no, like she was like gashed in the book. And kind of the same thing when it comes to her leg burns. Like her burns not only were severe, but they were almost infected. Like they didn't really portray any infection in the movie. It was just a really bad burn.
Yeah.
And also within the games, you also have sponsors. So this is where Haymitch, who is their mentor. So his job essentially is to prepare them for the games, get them camera ready, all that kind of stuff, and then also pitch them to sponsors, to the rich and the elite, to give money in order to send supplies to the tributes. And they're like, wow, and who's making that money? I wonder. So, and it's also the mentors are winners of previous Hunger Games. So Haymitch has been doing this every year since he won his Hunger Games. Which I don't know. I feel like that's correct, but obviously I'm sure that we get more details on his journey in the book. But
we don't. I was going to say, because it's not disclosed in the book or the movie when he won, right? When Haymitch won the games.
Yes.
I don't know when, like how old he was. We don't know how long he's been mentoring. So I'm hoping, obviously, we're going to get that in Sunrise on the Reaping, right?
If we don't find out in this book, we definitely do in the next one. Because we know what Hunger Games he won. I'm pretty sure he won the 50th.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, because I feel like that timeline it might not match up exactly. I don't know how old he's supposed to be. Because if he was like, he might be in the 40s then, as far as like the 40 some odd Hunger Games. Because they're at the 74th Hunger Games right now.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, either way, I don't think they tell us which one this book, but maybe next book when he becomes a bit bigger of a role in that movie, in that book as well.
Also, can we just fucking tip our hats to Woody Harrelson, dude?
Always tip my hat to Woody Harrelson. I love that man.
What a great character! Like, oh my God! All right, we can keep going.
Yeah.
He's just phenomenal.
They casted this movie perfectly.
Perfect.
And everyone that played their roles did so perfectly. There's not a single person in this movie, no matter how much screen time they have, how little screen time they have, they knock it out of the park. So let's see. So yeah, that's how the sponsors work. That's how the mentors work. So back to kind of the injury of it all, as we go through this movie, we talked about the burns, we talked about kind of her head wound, the scene with Rue. I love we get
My
more time with
God.
Rue in the book as well. Her and Katniss just spend more time together, and it's just so sweet. I really love it, and you really feel Katniss's responsibility towards her and personifying Rue as her younger sister, obviously as Prim, because
Mhm.
had Katniss
Mhm.
not stepped up and volunteered, Prim would be here, you know? So it's even more impactful when she dies. And in the book, it's a lot more straightforward in the book, I think, as far as like the clear indication that she's been stabbed, I think.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
it's very clear where it says like Katniss sees her get
A
hit.
spear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus in the book, it's like it's very off camera, so it turns around for the emotional
Shock
shock
factor.
factor of seeing her with this fucking spear inside of her gut. Poor little baby.
Yeah, their connection in the book, I listen, I sob, I cry every time in the movie. But reading it and
Mm,
just like you said, how their relationship is elaborated. That is one thing that I really like appreciate reading the books and then going and watching the movie.
mhm.
It's like getting so close with these characters and their dynamics in the book and then watching it on the screen hits so hard. Like her and Rue's relationship just sobbed uncontrollably while I was reading it. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god," because I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I am so fucking terrified for the newest book because we don't know what's coming. We have no
Yeah.
idea.
I'm
Like,
like,
I am already I'm already emotionally preparing myself for when we get to Mockingjay. Like 2 books from
yeah,
now. 2
I
books
know.
and what, 3 movies? 2 movies. Because I think it's
2
part
movies.
1, not
Yeah.
part 2, that what I'm talking about happens.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's gonna
It's gonna
yep,
suck
it's gonna
so fucking
fucking
bad.
destroy me.
I'll never forgive him for that one.
Nope.
Suzanne or nor the movie. Nope. So yeah, yeah, I agree full force though. Her and Rue in the book,
Yeah.
their relationship is so adorable, so touching, and like her just this the big sibling energy. Like my big sister
Mm.
heart was just like aching at this part.
And the scene, oh my god, the clip of them, like, sleeping and how Rue is, like, tucked into Katniss's arms.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
so sad.
God. I can't. Okay,
And
we
yeah,
gotta power
her and
through.
the entire funeral scene that Katniss puts on for Rue is also just
Yeah.
like excellent.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful with all the flowers, and I love how they portray that. Book to movie was very, as I've said, so well done.
And then we have the iconic as she's walking away, giving the symbol to the people out in the districts. That is the fuse.
Yep.
Well, the match,
Yeah. Match
you
that lights the
know.
fuse, yeah.
Yes.
And I really, really like what they added to this moment in the movie where they show the impact that that moment has in District 11, specifically where Rue is from. Where after Katniss, we see them all watching this and they're obviously heartbroken. This is a little girl from their district. And if you don't know, District 11 is majority Black people. That's how the districts were broken up. I'm sure that wasn't done strategically as well. So being made up of majority Black, you can imagine that the atrocities that they suffer are exponential to some other districts. And so Katniss giving that signal in the movie, we see District 11 start to push back and they beat the hell out of the peacekeepers and tear down these structures and things that are praising the Capitol. And I thought that was a really, really awesome addition that the movie made because obviously in the book where we stay with Katniss, so we don't know what the greater world has to say about that movement, or honestly, if they even saw it. I'm surprised that in the movie they show her doing that symbol because later on in the movie, when we get to there's a lot of post games content we get in the book that we don't in the movie, so we'll get to that. But there's certain things that don't match up for book to movie that isn't make or break for me at all, but it's just a very interesting interpretation when you kind of get to the nitty gritty of it. Anyway, so yeah, but love that moment so much. It's really impactful. Now we're on the hunt for PETA, and we go find PETA, and he's done his cake trick, and he camouflaged himself into the rocks. And this is also another...
Impressive. How do you find the time to do that when people are hunting you to kill
while you are actively bleeding from a massive wound in your leg? I understand it's the Hunger Games. Like, it's the Hunger Games. You gotta survive. 100. I totally get it.
I gotta paint my arm real quick.
Yeah, his face, entire whole face, like rocks into, like, blending his hair so much so into the moss. And I'm like, sir, God, you didn't have to get so cunty with it, with your fucking makeover. Because in the books, it is more of a, like, I feel like he's close to a riverbed and he's, like, covered in mud. I feel like it's more of a muddied up situation where he's camouflaged himself, I come back to the art, still camouflaged himself using the resources around him, but it's not, like, in a finessed or, like, cake decorating way, much like it is done in the movie. It's just always so funny to me. And so, yeah, in the movie, his leg is really fucked up. In the book, his leg is really fucked up compared to the movie. And we still get the same highlights of them in the cave, but they spend a lot more time in the cave. And I feel like that time that we spend with them in the book in that cave is very important to seeing the switch up that's later to come from Katniss. As far as her saying, like, she doesn't know how she feels about him, she was playing it up for the game, and how heartbroken PETA gets. It makes a lot more sense coming from the book context, because they spend 4 days in there together, I think, at least, if not more. So it made a lot more sense and hit a lot harder for me when that turn happens later in the book as well. But we still get the very cute moments of them, like, having their little kissy moments and taking care of each other and seeing how, like, smitten PETA is and how, like, unsure Katniss is, being like, hey, do I like this? Do I want this? I don't know. Either way, it's still a good scenes. They get sent medicine from Haymitch, as well as, like, I think they get some soup broth. And Katniss goes out to when they have this, like, party at the cornucopia to get supplies that they all need. And so we get the interaction that she has with what's her name? Glimmer? No, not Glimmer. What's the little one with the knives? Clove, thank you.
Yeah.
With Clove, where she comes at Katniss and is attacking her, only for Katniss to be saved by Thresh, and then Thresh let her get away. But the only thing is that in the context of the book, they have a conversation. Thresh is going to kill Katniss, but then she says, like, I tried to save Rue. And, he believes her and talks to her, and she's like, I decorated her with flowers, like, I gave her a burial, as much of a burial as I could. I cared about her. They kind of have that moment. And then for him to be like, okay, just this one time, I'll let you get away. And then he takes off. Versus in the movie, it's assumed that he, like, knows that they've been allies. So I don't know if he saw them or what, because when they're in the games, they're not seeing what's televised. So they don't know what other people are doing. That would defeat the purpose of them hunting each other. So in the movie, when he says, like, oh, just this one time 12 for Rue, it's like, how do you know that? Like, there's no moment for her to be like, I was trying to help her, that we do get in the book. Either way. But I guess there is the moment when Clove is taunting Katniss before Thresh kills her, and she was kind of talking up Rue. So I feel like it does make sense. Context clues, minor details.
Yeah.
It's nitpicking, honestly. This is just how good the adaptation is, because we have to nitpick. That's how good it is.
Right.
Yeah. We move through the games a bit more. Katniss gets the supplies that they need for PETA's leg to mostly heal, but he's still limping. They do have the same kind of interaction with these berries, the Nightlock berries, and then that's how Foxface ends up dying, because she eats them. I like how they explain that away. It's similar 1-to-1. Pretty much with the book to movie, as far as her just spying on PETA, watching him pick those berries, so she assumed they're safe, and so she eats them and dies. But hey, I love her strategy the entire time. She's like, I'm keeping my distance, I am being sly and sneaky, and I'm just going to outlive you all. God forbid I was put in that scenario, I'd probably try to do the same. Or honestly, step off the platform and get blown to bits immediately. I'd probably do that too. He's dead. It's just Katniss, Peeta, and Cato, who is one of the careers from, I think, District 2. And careers meaning the contestants from the more luxurious districts. While still under capital control, they live much more high-class lives. And so due to this, they have the ability and kind of the desire to compete in these games for like honor and glory and all that. So other tributes call them careers because they literally spend their young lives training.
Entire life.
Yeah, training to be killing machines. So they are very, very feared in the Hunger Games. So Cato is the last remaining tribute other than the two of them. And they're being drawn out. Oh, they get the announcement that instead of one tribute, but this is a while back. This is like before Katniss finds Peeta. That's why she goes on the hunt for Peeta, because there's an announcement that instead of one victor, if both tributes from a district are both alive and finished together, they both can win. And this is done because Katniss and Peeta have sold their love story so much that people want to make sure that they want to see them succeed and live. So much influence that they are able to do that. Fast forwarding all the way to this point, this is why Katniss and Peeta have kept each other alive and are still alive. They get called to the arena, or the center of the arena, back to the cornucopia, and are actually chased there, mind you, by these things called mutts. And now...
Oh my God.
Now,
Horrifying.
throughout the games, the Capitol has a game maker who is in charge of kind of orchestrating certain events and certain things to be televised and to generate drama throughout the Hunger Games so that it makes for good TV. Yeah, do what makes good TV. Seneca Crane with, like, I gotta say though, baddest beard game in the game movie. Great beard game.
For sure. Yeah.
Can't deny it. But yeah, Seneca Crane is the game maker. So yeah, he's throughout the movie, like, he sends a forest fire after Katniss, along with like fireballs, and that's how she gets burnt on her leg. They put the tracker jackers in there. They make different elemental factors come into play to influence certain decisions and certain moves that players or tributes make. So the mutts are one of these things that they release, and scary in the movie, terrifying in the book. Because these mutts are not just like mutated muscle dogs. They contain the eyes of all of the previous victors. Not victors, tributes that have died. So like it's
haunting.
So haunting. Like watching Katniss process this and see like Rue's eyes in this thing trying to kill her. Oh my God. The psychological damage
warfare
that the Capitol is causing, not even just for like good of TV, because like for all we know, the watchers don't know this. The viewers watching the Hunger Games don't know that detail, but it's to leave something with the tributes and really fuck them up. So even if you are a victor, you're never the same, ever. On molecular levels, you are never the same. Like,
and the moment in the movie when the game designer who draws this mutt up is like, it sticks with me how Seneca walks over and she pulls it up and does like a 360 of it, and he's like, yeah, that's good. Like, they're proud of it. They're so proud of it, and just the sadistic nature of that. Oh God.
Yeah. There's so much commentary layered into this, and I'm so excited to talk about it once we get to the end of the recap.
Yeah.
So the final moment also, so the mutts drive Katniss, Peeta, and Cato up to the roof of the cornucopia to escape them. But now, obviously, the three of them are up there. Katniss and Peeta are going to try to kill Cato. And Cato's going to try to kill them. So a fight ensues. They do the exact same thing with, like, Peeta being held by his hand, and he points to his hand. So Katniss shoots the arrow at Cato's hand, causing him to kind of be stunned and then fall off the cornucopia into the mutts. And talk about psychological warfare. It's bad in the movie. It's worse in the book.
Way worse.
Cato is slowly mauled to death over what's gotta be 12 hours, I would say. It's overnight into the
Mhm.
next day until they've torn him and moved him so much that he's close to the opening so Katniss can shoot him. Whereas in the movie, it's very kind of quick, rapid beats. But they still get the point of cross of like, just like in the book, he's being eaten alive and just saying like, please just like kill me. And she does mercy kill him. It just unfortunately takes so much longer in the book. And even when Katniss describes shooting him, she's like, it was a pile of meat. Like, he was nothing anymore. Like, oh my God. It is. And that's those moments. I'm just like, middle schoolers reading this? Oh my
That's what
God.
Yes.
Holy shit. Because certain parts of this, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's pretty dark, but like, all right, I can see how it can be handled reading it in short bursts and things. But that,
Mm.
oof.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oof. So yeah, that was real dark. And then we get the same moment where Peeta and Katniss are both ready to eat the berries because then of course once Cato's dead, they're like, "Oh, sorry, that previous rule about the two remaining tributes being victors together. Yeah, that we actually said no thanks, so you guys have to kill each other." And so they choose to say, "Okay, well, we'll go out together." At which point the Capitol says, "Okay, sorry, no, wait. You both win. Happy Hunger Games." Because it's better to have two victors than none. Am I right? And man, like Katniss doesn't realize how smart and rebellious she is. Like she's not making these choices to say like, oh, what a fuck you that would be to the Capitol, right? It's like still with the like, we're not gonna let them toy with us this way.
Mhm.
So it's still coming from that kind of a spirit, but she doesn't realize the larger impact that it has. And I think Peeta probably has that foresight a bit more, but where we don't know what's going on in his head, just hers. I just think it's such a really interesting detail of her character that we're gonna see transform as we read these books as well as watch the movies. They both win, and then we kind of in the movie we get a flash to we get a flash to just them coming back. They're just in the Capitol again, I'm pretty sure. Versus in
Yeah.
the book, we get a
Yeah.
lot more breakdown because talking about injuries, gotta rewind before we move forward with this while we're still in the games and in the arena. Hina's leg is not just fucked up, it's like really not good. Like it is like, at risk of falling off, it feels like.
He's gonna need more than a Band-Aid and some Neosporin.
Yeah.
He's gonna need
So
yeah.
his injury in the book is much more exaggerated and serious than it is in the movie. Because like as they're running away from the mutts, he's limping clearly, and so he's incapacitated at that level, but he's not like close to death, bleeding kind of deal. So when they get picked up, we see Katniss like screaming and trying to get to him because they separate him from her to go get him medical attention, and then they end up knocking her out, I think, because she's just like screaming and banging on the glass door. So, but then we do end up seeing that she wakes up. They don't reunite just yet, but and none of this is in the movie either, but she reunites
Mhm.
with Haymitch and gets her congratulations, great job, sweetheart. I love that they keep the sweetheart and the delivery of Woody Harrelson. Like it's just so non-creepy when it could be creepy, and I really like it. And so Peeta and Katniss do end up reuniting, but it's on camera in front of like Caesar Flickerman when they're about to go into this special. And we get this in the movie to a point where we get like their joint interview where they have the Beauty and the Beast wardrobe in the movie that I love. It's such a nice, just like her in the yellow dress and him in the blue suit. I'm like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so off from what they actually are. It's actually quite opposite if you think about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um so we get that they're being interviewed and all of that, but what we don't get is the fact that that interview is actually like a 4-hour long event that the Capitol has
Mhm.
after the Hunger Games end. And what they do is they like pretty up the tribute who's been emaciated and fighting for their lives for the last X number of weeks to get them camera ready and be like, okay, ready to talk about all of it? Ready to talk about all that trauma? And it's like,
Mhm.
what the fuck? So
Yep.
even though they've like now survived, they're still just treated like chattel. And a really, really important part that they do not touch upon in the book when it comes to them being kind of rehabilitated in a sense and treated health wise after coming back from the games, Hey Mitch says because Katniss has a hazy memory of Haymitch screaming at doctors. We come to find out that's because she's so emaciated and has lost so much weight from not eating that she's like skinny, her bones are sticking out, and when Cinna goes to put her clothes on her, like she notices that the chest in particular is heavily padded because she's just so much skinnier. And Cinna tells her, well, they wanted to surgically modify you to make you look the way you did before you left, but Haymitch screamed at them that they were absolutely not touching you. And it's like, whoa, that was not in the movie. That's another level of like insanity from the
lack of
yeah.
humanity and lack of empathy and just very dehumanizing.
Yeah, to be like, while you're just completely under, having gone through this awful experience, killed other kids because they're kids, and then they're like, oh, well, we're going to give you a boob job because you kind of lost some of your fat while you were out there. Oh my God. So also, Haymitch love her till I die. Like, I love it. So I love that detail is in the book. I understand they didn't have time for it in the movie, but I think it's so important just to show more levels of how shitty the Capitol really is and how these people are treated. So yeah, so this 4-hour event is them watching a recap of all of the events from the Hunger Games. So Katniss and Peeta are watching all these other tributes die who they only saw kind of projected up into the sky during the games. They don't know how they died, who was involved, anything. So they're watching all of this. They're rewatching their own actions. Katniss has to watch Rue die again. But she points out that they removed the part about her displaying the flowers. And so in the books, I don't think she does the symbol in the book. I think she just gives her a burial, if I remember correctly. Because in the recapping they're showing, Katniss mentions that she notices they cut out the part where she covered Rue in flowers and kind of made her look nice. So she's like, I thought it was interesting. So she says, like, I thought it was interesting that, they purposefully kept that out because that could be seen as a sign of rebellion. So that makes me think in terms of the movie, I'm like, in the movie, realistically, the Capitol would not have shown her doing the 3-finger salute. They would not have shown that. The Capitol would have cut the cameras, So I thought it was interesting, unless it's like they do it live and nothing is cut because who knows what's going to happen or whatever. But I'm like, there's not a delay at all so that you guys can catch certain stuff, because she does mention, Katniss mentions in the book that they have had to cut away from certain deaths and even take out certain tributes because some tributes resort to cannibalism. Some tributes eat other people in the games, and so they couldn't televise it. So I'm like, so there's definitely a lot of censorship within the books of the games, but it doesn't seem like that's shown as much in the movies. So I just thought that difference, I just had that epiphany. I was like, oh, wow, that's a very interesting.
Yeah, that is a really good catch.
Yeah.
It's a really good catch.
So Katniss and Peeta sit through all of this, and it's only when Caesar then asks Peeta how he's feeling that Katniss realizes Peeta has a fake leg because it had to be amputated. And in the movie, he does not lose his leg. That's what I mean by the injuries in the movies are very toned down from the seriousness that they have and the further repercussions they have in the books. Even in the books as well, when Katniss blows up, I didn't touch on it, but when she blows up all the food that the careers have piled by the cornucopia and surrounded with all the mines, she goes partially deaf for the rest of the games. She's deaf in one ear. And they do end up fixing it when she's treated after her and Peeta are taken out of the games. So she gets her hearing back, but Peeta loses his leg. And I just thought that was such a realistic and gutsy move, I think, honestly, to do in the book. So I'm really, really curious to see how that might change him or affect his character, the greater story, the details. Not that it's going to be like, oh, well, he can't do X now, not on that level, but decision making or how his movement is described in the books. I'm just curious how it's portrayed moving forward, because you don't get any of that in the movies. So that's what kind of I thought was another really interesting move that they made for the movies. So yeah, I was like, all right, not making him an amputee. Okay, interesting choice. So yeah, and we get a reunion with I believe we get a reunion with Katniss and her family back home. But yeah, then her and Peeta are shipped back to District 12. And she does mention they have a few months off before they're going to be carted around for a victory tour. And that's kind of where it ends, with her also telling Peeta, and Peeta coming to the realization that she might not actually have romantic feelings towards him, and everything in the games was actually a lie and played up for the cameras. And like, he is so heartbroken by this, and it's like, it broke my heart to see him hurt. I'm like, no, Peeta. So we'll see we know what that has, how that influences their relationship moving forward. But I can't wait. Catching Fire is my favorite movie of all of them that have come out so far. So
Okay.
I'm a
Alright.
big Catching Fire fan.
It is, yeah, it is. I would say it is definitely up there for me. Admittedly, I love Mockingjay Part 2.
It is
I love it so
really
much.
good.
But Catching Fire is,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
I think it just
So,
goes back to my enemies to lovers loving.
yeah.
Because that's literally what happens with the two of them. So I'm like, ooh, I think that's why I like it the most. But also I just love
Lots of iconic,
the characters that
yeah,
we're about
so
to
much,
get.
yes, so much iconic cinematography in there.
Yes, don't
So much.
worry. I'm going to yell about it next episode. If you've seen
Yeah.
Catching Fire, you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yep.
I still can't keep my mouth shut watching Sinners when it goes from wide frame to full frame. Don't talk to me about Catching
Right.
Fire. Don't get me started. So yeah, I am super, super excited to get into that.
Mhm.
So yeah, just kind of talking more about we've talked about kind of how Suzanne Collins wrote this in a very palatable way, and then we also talk about the mutts. That's kind of along the same lines. But yeah, she doesn't shy
Yeah.
away from the brutality and reality of this haunting scenario that is these children being forced to kill each other.
Oh my god.
And it does remind me of The Long Walk. I haven't read the book, The Long Walk, but I did see the movie a couple times now, and I fucking love it. If you haven't seen that movie, it's tough. It's a tough watch. Watch it
Mhm.
regardless. Be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think I may watch that tonight now that you've made that parallel. I think I'm definitely gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, it's a heavy movie, but
Mhm.
damn,
Mhm.
I cried. I got chills. There are some scenes that I'm like, I can't watch this. But yeah,
I'm gonna be texting you with live
please,
updates. That's
please
my
do.
favorite thing. That's
Yes.
my favorite thing to do now, watching movies that you've seen that you're like, beat for beat, and I'm like, "Oh my god," and you're like, "I know."
Like, just wait. Pretty much. That's the entire every time you text me. Just wait. It gets worse. Just wait. It gets worse. That's the entire movie of The Long Walk.
Yeah,
So yeah,
okay,
not spoiling
alright.
it, but tying it
Yeah.
into the Hunger Games, where in the Long Walk, boys across the country, the United States, are volunteering by signing up for this competition where they simply just walk for as long as possible, and if they fall below a certain threshold or break certain rules, they're killed. So, and it's brought up in the movie, so I don't want to tie it too much because I don't want to give you any
Mhm.
spoilery kind of things.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the concept of volunteering is brought into
Right.
question. So obviously we have Katniss volunteering and these boys that volunteer. And so
Mhm.
it reminded me a lot of the credit system as well in the Hunger Games, where the districts are forced to essentially rely on the government to get the help that the government should be supplying for free, but instead they have to pay for it
Mhm.
with their children's lives at stake. And yeah, so Katniss from the get-go, both in the movie as well as the book, is very aware of all that systemic abuse at play. Like, she points it out to us point blank, period. And like
Mhm.
everyone else, she's forced to live under it, but she's at least able to get by like the tiniest bit easier because she spends hours foraging and hunting. So it's like, is it easier when you're having to literally go out and hunt for your, which isn't a foreign concept to go hunt for your own food? People do it today,
Mm.
but as a matter of survival versus
Yeah,
convenience, I
because
guess.
we didn't touch on, the loss of her father, right?
Right.
And how she just immediately stepped into that role to provide for the family,
Mhm.
and how, having to do that, from multiple different backgrounds, if you grow up in an abusive household, if you grow up, with a single parent, and how much that matures you.
Mm-hmm.
How people always, I hate when people are like, "Oh, you're so mature for your age." It's like, yeah, it's due to trauma.
Yeah.
Due to trauma. So, yeah, there's just so many elements at play for Katniss, and the entire concept of, like, not only do you have to prepare to enter these games every year, you have to fucking figure out how to feed your family because your mother is catatonic,
Yeah.
you know?
So, and as far as speaking on like the greater of Panem as well, we never really had a solid idea of what Suzanne Collins was really picturing because unfortunately, she does not give us a map in these books. And we love a map. We love our maps.
We do. We
But
do.
Lionsgate did release a verified map on Instagram on April 14th, 2020. And so it has a rough outline of how the districts kind of are laid out. So first, we'll kind of go through what each district essentially is producing. So District 1 provides luxury goods like high-end jewels and luxury items. District 2 is masonry and defenses, so like stone mining, weapons manufacturing, and peacekeeper training. District 3 handles technology, so electronics, computers, circuitry. District 4 is for fishing, which is maritime fishing industry. District 5 provides power, so they supply electricity and manages power generation. District 6 is transportation, like hovercrafts and train maintenance as well. We see in the movie and also read in the book about how they have these high-speed trains that are able to shoot them through all of the districts up to the capital. District 7 is lumber, so it's like lumber and paper products. Textiles is District 8 manufactures fabrics, clothing, and peacekeeper uniforms. District 9 is grain, and they produce like more agriculture focus as well as farm focus. And then District 10 is where you get more livestock, which is the meat production. District 11 is agriculture, which is fruit, crops, things like that. District 12 is known for the coal. And then we have District 13, which we only, I think District 13 is brought up very, very briefly and just saying, like, we don't want to end up like District 13. That's all we really
And
get.
that's it. That's it. Very elusive.
Yes. And so District 13 was used for, it was nuclear and graphite mining. So yeah, they did graphite mining, I can speak, but secretly managed nuclear technologies during the war that we will find out more about. So not really a stretch to not spoil that. But Rachel and I had a little look-see at this map together, and we wanted to try to figure out where we would be geographically in this map. So I am up in New England. Rachel is down south on the southeast coast. I am in District 13. I am eliminated. Goodbye. I'm dust in the wind.
You're just a figment here. You're like a...
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and I would be touching between districts 8 and 12 because looking at, the United States, 12 is really the Carolinas.
That's what it feels like to me.
North and South Carolina, which is Appalachia origins 100%. And I really, really, really love everything about the series with the movies and the books and how well Suzanne translated the Appalachia way of life. And she really brought the elements in, especially in the movie adaptation. I mean, going back in Appalachia history, when you had the moonshiners and they had the stills in the hills. I mean, my gosh. And I've been on the Southeast coast my entire life. Appalachia is very near and dear to my heart. And yeah, in translating to real life, they've been very wronged by the government as well. So
yeah. And I'm also noticing
pay my ode to Appalachia.
Yeah. And speaking of like moonshiners, if you haven't watched it, oh my god, my brain can't keep doing this to me.
What?
There's a movie that I
Is it a
love.
TV show?
No, it's a movie that I love.
The one with Shia LaBeouf?
Yes.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it is
It's
so
him,
fucking good.
It's Tom Hardy. It's Jason Clarke.
Hold on a minute.
It begins with an L. Lawless. It's Lawless.
Lawless. Yes. Oh my god. Yes.
Love that movie.
It is so good.
I gotta go watch it
so
later.
Good.
I fucking love that movie.
Yep.
So yeah, anytime I hear like Moonshining Appalachia, I'm like, Wallace, I know that one.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Yep. Phenomenal.
So yeah.
Yep.
So feel free, we'll put up the map, and feel free to check out where you would fall
Where
on
you would
here.
land.
Unfortunately, it does look like Florida is no longer with us.
It's not
It's
even
not even on
it's
the
not
map.
even there.
There is no jetting out of Florida, so I think it is safe to assume that
Yeah.
climate change, much like our real life, is real in the universe of the
Yeah.
Hunger Games, and I don't think Florida is with us anymore.
And it is interesting because on the map, is that 9? That's 9, 6, and 7 that are like reaching up into Canada.
Yeah, 9, 6, and 7 like feel like they go up into Canada. 10 looks like it stretches down into Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
yeah,
it's very interesting getting this visual,
Mhm.
you know.
It's a very interesting universe that Suzanne has constructed for us.
Mhm.
So I touched earlier on the costumes, and like specifically with like Effie, her costumes just get better and better as these movies go on. And the person who was in charge of costumes, her name is Judiana Makovsky, and she also worked on the Sorcerer's Stone movie. So I thought that was
I
cool.
did not know
Yeah,
that.
I thought that was pretty neat.
Wow.
And so yeah, I can't wait to showcase more costumes from these movies because not just Effie, but overall the costumes just get really, really, really fucking cool.
Yeah. The movie just does such a brilliant, brilliant translation and a physical display of the vanity
Mhm.
and the vain of being in the Capitol and how your appearance is everything. Which I can't wait to talk about when we get to Mockingjay Part 2, like the end of Mockingjay.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were gonna say
yeah.
Catching Fire, because we get a lot more detail
Well,
into
yes,
the
Catching
culture
Fire
of the
too.
Capitol in Catching Fire. But yes, also
Yeah.
Mockingjay
But
Part 2 too. So there's like a little bit of IMDb trivia, I guess you could say, knowledge about the Hunger Games book. So I'll just kind of read this off. The novel from which the film was adapted has been frequently criticized as being derivative of Koshin Takami's novel Battle Royale, and its movie adaptation, which I love, from 2000. If you have not seen that, it's a rated R Hunger Games. It came before
wow, okay.
Hunger Games was ever
Battle
written.
Royale.
And I beg of you, please watch the subbed version, not dubbed. It
Okay.
is a Korean movie. I believe it's Korean. And yeah, it's excellent. But it is a classroom full of kids get put on an island, and they say fight to the death, and they do. But it's they have differences. And listen, unfortunately, Quentin Tarantino has even called The Hunger Games a ripoff of Battle Royale. And listen, Mr. Tarantino, I love your filmmaking, but you're a fucking weirdo, and you are dropping lower and lower on my list of directors.
I know. It's really sad.
It's very
It's
disappointing.
really sad because I'm like, damn, you've done so much good work, but you are like ruining it for me.
It's like Tom Cruise,
That's
man. Like I feel the same way about Tom Cruise. I'm like, you are
Yes.
such a piece of shit person and such a weirdo. But why do you have to make such good movies? I fucking hate that you make such good movies.
Well, and that's like, I guess the Duffer Brothers puts a new piece of work out.
I wanted to watch it, and then I heard that they were involved, and now I don't.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no, I fucking refuse.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, continuing this trivia. In an interview, Hunger Games author Suzanne Collins claimed that she had never even heard of either the book or movie Battle Royale before she handed her manuscript in, and it was her editor who actually brought up the similarities. He dissuaded her from reading Takami's book, stating, "You don't want that world in your head." Understandable. Collins claims to have drawn most of her inspiration from the Greek myth of Theseus and the Minotaur, in which the people of Athens had to sacrifice 7 pairs of boys and girls to the deadly half-human Minotaur, who lives in a maze, as well as channel surfing and seeing reality TV juxtaposed with some news covering the Iraq War. Makes sense. Kami, the author of Battle Royale, said that some of the inspiration for his book came from the 1954 novel Lord of the Flies. And author Stephen King also defended Collins by saying that the premise had been used before, like in his own novels, The Running Man and The Long Walk.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Holy shit.
And this is why reading any Stephen King, the man puts way too many slurs in his books. The man talks
Oh
about
yeah,
testicles and
100%.
balls way too much in his books. But he fucking writes good stories.
Mhm.
He seems like a genuine good person.
Yeah.
I like that. I like reading his books. But anyway, I just thought that that was so interesting because even myself, when I first watched The Hunger Games and then I saw Battle Royale, I was like, oh, so she must have
Mm.
read this or known about this movie or something before writing The Hunger Games. But yeah, no, she
Mhm.
completely did not base it off that at all. And I think the specific like juxtaposition, flipping through the channels of the news with the Iraq war and onto some commercial or whatever, ain't that the life we live with these Black Mirror ass devices every single day, scrolling on our TikToks, our Instagram reels, seeing
Influencers.
influencers, yeah, scrolling between atrocities happening in the US, other countries, and then yeah, you have an influencer, you have a TikTok shop ad, you have a
You
cute
get
little
a
puppy,
you get
like
a s yeah, exactly, a super emotional video,
yeah.
just the constant pinging of your nervous system, just a
Mhm.
constant dysregulated nervous system. So this is also, I do wanna say, it is a very surreal feeling reading this series in the current climate, and
Yep.
I'm very glad we have each other to go through this with because this is wild.
It
This
is.
is it's intense.
It really is. And it also reading the book and then watching the movie,
Mhm.
it is such an interesting feeling keeping that in mind because then if you really start to think introspectively about it, you're like,
Mhm.
okay, at what point is me watching this movie over and over again not the same
Mhm.
problem, you know? It's like, oh,
Right.
gaining entertainment from watching, granted these kids on screen are not actually dying, they're actors
Yeah.
acting, but it's still the same kind of thing. It's the idea of going out and seeking that kind of content, going out and saying, oh, the movie Battle Royale, which has this awful stuff that happens to these kids, it's a great movie. It's like, how, whoa, what? So I just think it's a really cool comparison to think about as you kind of dissect this book and movie, because it's like, oh, even real like we've talked about living it day to day, it's like, oh, at what point are you in a district versus a capital,
Right,
you
exactly.
know?
And I was gonna say, I think in a kind of from a poetic point of view, it's almost like in the tone that you digest it, right? Are
Mhm.
you digesting it because you are excited to see that stuff's going to happen, or are you digesting it because it's relatable and you're like,
Mhm.
and you have these beautiful heroic moments of Katniss stepping up to the plate and of Katniss like feeling that sense of rebellion, and it's just how art, like, and like I kind of said on one of our older episodes, how the artist and the creatives continue to instill hope because that is the rebellion
Mhm.
is creating. So it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't make it any less dystopian in
Yeah.
real life, but I think that having these pieces of media are just so fucking important.
100%. Yeah, like you said, it's all about how you dissect them, how you interpret them, and how you what messages you're taking from them. What's your motivation, you know? So no, I think that's hugely important and makes a massive difference in all of that. And even in the book, um Katniss mentions that there are certain parts of the games that districts are forced to watch. Like they don't have a choice. Businesses close. The capital says you are not allowed to work. You have to be watching it, whether it's in your home, projected in public, whatever. So yeah, that there is still that sense of like forcing you to keep your eyes on it, even if you're like, I don't want to feed into this narrative by participating in your system, but there are parts of it that
Yeah.
they just say, well, actually, you don't have a choice. Um, and ain't that uh, a message for the times? So yeah, that is the Hunger Games. So yeah, like we kind of touched on, it's not necessarily 100% horror, but it's definitely got a lot of horrific elements.
Mhm.
And it's hugely important to talk about for, many reasons in particular. This day and age.
Yep.
So we hope that you join us for the rest of this ride. Like we said, the two of us have not read the other books, so you'll be getting our full reactions as far as our, right up personal, close and personal with all of our reactions
Yep.
on this. So I'm very excited to read the rest of the series. Super stoked. So before we also kind of wrap up with Hunger Games stuff, we wanted to kind of talk about when it comes to like our strengths, just to like bring a little bit of like levity to the before we start closing this out. But like what Katniss's weapon of choice is a bow and arrow. She is a hunter. She does that. We saw Peeta. His strength is that he is strong, but he's artistic. You know, we see Rue who's stealthy. So like what would your weapon of choice or kind of strategy, I guess, if God forbid this hellscape was ever truth in that way?
So first I was going to say a crossbow because I'm like fucking love Daryl Dixon.
Oh, hell yeah.
I would like to think that I could handle a crossbow. The reality is I cannot. I can't. So I'm thinking I would probably say throwing knives.
Okay.
Just
Cool.
because I feel like, or flamethrower. They probably don't have flamethrowers.
Probably don't have a flamethrower, but with your like flow experience with all of that kind of stuff, like if you had a weapon where you had like balls on fire on either end, like you could fuck some people up twirling stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Now you got my mind going.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yes, there is a flow prop called a rope dart, and it's like a Kevlar ball on the end of a very long string. So I would just switch that out for a knife.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I could get two.
That's what I mean. I feel like and you get the distance. Like you could fuck some people up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd look fucking hot while I was doing it.
Priorities.
I'd also be pissing my pants. I'd be fucking terrified.
Right.
Admittedly, if I was actually dropped in this arena, I don't think survival would last very long.
My weapon of choice would be my brain making the choice to step off the pedestal and explode. Because legitimately, like, I'm like, okay, like
nope.
I've taken up boxing. I'm like, great, that's not going to do me any good in a fight to the death. Like, I'm not Rocky Balboa or something, like, about to punch out someone to death. Like, that's not me. So yeah, I'm like, I'm not stealthy at all. I'm too clumsy for that shit. So no, bye.
Yeah.
I'm just simply nosediving.
Yeah.
Sorry to my family. That's a death sentence immediately for me.
I made it this far, guys.
Yeah.
I made it this far.
If I even managed to survive, I would probably die of hunger because, like, I'm not a forager. I don't have knowledge like that. Even if I were to have, like, I think they get a week or something in the training center to, like, study certain things, learn certain, certain skills and trades to, like, help them, like, how to tie certain ropes, or, like, Katniss learns how to set certain snares, things like that. So I'm like, cool, I could sit there trying to study these herbs and berries and fruits that I'm allowed to eat. Am I retaining any of that? No.
Right.
Like, no. It's way too early to start about, like, Team Gale, Team Peeta, because there's just, how can you be anything other than Team Peeta at this point? Like, we've gotten so little of Gale, and what little we have gotten, he's fine,
Right.
Katniss is confused about her feelings, but that's fine. She can be.
Yeah.
We're not. And it doesn't help that he's portrayed by the worst Hemsworth. So there's that.
Right.
But that's Hunger Games. Yay. So exciting. So now, what's to come? So listen, we haven't been around for like a few weeks. Terribly sorry about that. Things happen.
Life has been lifing. Life has been lifing.
Life's just really curb stomping the shit out of us right now, but we're pushing through. We're doing okay.
Yep. We are reaching for each other through the long distance chaos.
Exactly. But we do want to make sure that we are still delivering for some horror lovers out there. So can't say what exactly schedule it might be on. We're going to really try to stick with this 2 times a month thing now that we've had a whole month off. So sorry about that. So we're going to try to stick to it, but to offset the Hunger Games and going back to really more horror, capital H, I am so excited to be able to word vomit all about the Flaniverse.
We don't even know where to start.
We
don't
really
even know
don't.
where to start. My gosh.
We've talked about this like the most minute bit, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
I no idea how to start this. But because currently they just started filming The Exorcist, because he's doing a remake of The Exorcist.
Gonna
They
fucking
wrapped
be
up.
incredible.
It's gonna be so fucking good.
So
They
good.
just wrapped up Carrie a couple months ago. I
No
cannot
shit.
wait.
Did they really?
Yeah, they wrapped on Carrie.
Oh my God.
I am just so freaking excited for everything
Mhm.
this man does. So
Mhm.
we've talked about him before. I don't know if we haven't, I don't know how we haven't, but we certainly have. So yeah, we don't know where we're going to start per se, but we're going to start because we want to digest all of that. And I need to have
We do.
someone to just yell about it with and cry. I can't wait to just sob so much. If you're going to follow along with us, prepare to cry. We'll make sure to announce like what we're gonna start with, just in case anyone hasn't watched any of the Mike Flanagan movies or shows and wants to follow along. I don't know. I have a feeling I want to start like at the beginning of his career and just work our way through everything. Because
Yeah.
he's got some really good bangers in the beginning of his career. Good Lord, I don't want to have to watch Gerald's Game again, but I will.
I haven't
You
watched
haven't
it.
seen it?
No.
And now, mind you, a lot of his projects are adaptations. A lot of them Stephen King, some of them not. But if you feel the need to read the book before we watch that project, feel free. I personally probably won't, just because we have enough to read otherwise. But certain things like Gerald's Game is like a Stephen King book, and is apparently even creepier than the movie, which I didn't think was possible. That movie has left such it took a piece of my brain that it doesn't need to give it back. It scarred me so fucking bad. Anyway, I love Mike Flanagan. I love him to death. So yeah, we will stay tuned to see kind of where we start with that, and we will pick up with Hunger Games in another few weeks. So we hope you've enjoyed this. We haven't introduced ourselves, but we will now. Once again, this has been Blood, Books, and Binge Watching from Megan and Rachel. Thank you so much for hanging in there.